Save 20 to 30% of your income if you want to maintain your lifestyle. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, what percentage of my income should I save for retirement? You're going to learn some things that most people don't consider and why most people outlive their money or have to lower their lifestyle during retirement because they didn't learn what you're going to learn in this episode. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've been a retirement planning specialist for more than 46 years. And my primary goal was to help my clients not outlive their money during their golden years if they live to be 120. I want to make sure that their strategy, their money, their nest egg will not be affected by the negative impact of taxes, inflation, and market volatility. So I would make them immune from that. But let's go back to the simple question, how much do I need to save? What percent of my income should I be saving? Now, it's amazing how many people would come to me that we're only saving 1 or 2 or 3%. And I thought, wow, you don't want to retire for a long time. And they would say, well, what percent should I be contributing? Some were proud of themselves because they contributed 6%. Because if they did, the employer would match 50 cents on the dollar or 3%, and that was the max. So if they put in 6 and the employer put in an additional 3, that was 9%, and they thought, hey, that's going to be pretty good. Well, I would say as a general rule, if you want to have the same lifestyle, maybe just a little bit less, you have to tighten your belt because of the negative impact of taxes and inflation and market volatility for most people where they have their money in retirement. The least I would recommend you sock away is 10% of your income, and don't plan on retiring for 30 to 40 years because that's what you'll need to be earning and setting aside in where most people have their money invested for retirement. Now, the average American, according to Dalbar, only earns about 3.5% if their money is invested in the market. That sounds maybe different. You say, well, my broker dealer, my financial planner says that this mutual fund or this portfolio has averaged 9%. Well, that's if you buy and hold. And sometimes they only show you the good years. Because if you bought and you held for 40 years and you never got nervous when the markets crashed and everything like that, you might earn 9%. But that's before tax. If you are earning 9%, it means even if you have $1 million nest egg and you're pulling out 9% your earnings, that's $90,000, but that's not all your money. Uncle Sam has a permanent tax lien on that. Between federal and state income tax, most people pay at least a third in tax. So a third of 90 would be 30, so you're netting 60,000. Then you have to pay fees because most asset managers charge at least 1% on the assets under management. If you have $1 million, that's 10 grand. So you pull out 90,000 after taxes and fees, you're only netting 50,000. Maybe you can get by on 50,000, but what about inflation? Inflation will double the cost of living about every 7 to 10 years at the current real rates of inflation. So in 7 to 10 years, every 7 to 10 years, in fact, you will have to double the amount that you take in income. You're going to need 100,000 to buy what 50,000 used to buy 7 years or 10 years earlier. In 20 years, you're going to need double that again. You're going to need 200,000 to buy what 50,000 used to buy 15 or 20 years earlier. So you have to have a strategy where you're immune from taxes going up because yours is tax-free. That's my favorite strategy. Make yourself immune from taxes going up, convert to tax-free. Number 2, link your returns to the things that inflate. So inflation, if it goes at 5, you'll earn 10. If inflation is 10, you'll earn 15. If it's 15, you'll earn 20. I've always earned personally a rate of return of at least 5.5% greater than the inflation rate at the time. But the third thing that causes people to outlive their money is market volatility, because Dalbar says most people are buying and selling at the wrong times. They're not buying and holding. When the market starts to go down, like in 2001 to 2003 or 2008, when it goes down to 20, 30, 40%, people go, enough already, and they sell low, and then they wait till the market comes up, 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 and then they finally buy high. And that's why Dalbar says, unfortunately, most retirees only average 3.49%. That's why the financial services industry says, don't take out any more than 4% a year. That means every $1 million you've saved, you only pull out $40,000 a year. That will actually start to deplete because you're only earning $35,000 a year at 3.5%, and you're pulling out 40, but hopefully not before you die. But the sad thing is that $40,000 in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k is going to be taxed. You in a 25% bracket would be paying $10,000 of that $40,000 in tax, another $10,000 in fees. You're only netting $20,000 or 2%. Most of my clients would realize at least 8% payouts and even 10% payouts. $80,000 a year of income for every million, or $100,000 a year of income for every million they had accumulated, and it was totally tax-free. So it's all a function of where is your money invested, and are you subject to taxes, inflation, and market volatility forever? Or will you make a change and do a strategic rollout and convert to totally tax-free by eliminating the dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility? How do you do that? So before I share with you how you can eliminate those three dangers, taxes, inflation, and market volatility, let me just tell you, if you save 10% of your income, don't plan on retiring for 30 to 40 years at least, and be prepared to only maintain your current lifestyle or even less. If you were to save 20% of your income, you might be able to retire in 20 or 30 years with the same lifestyle. Maybe you might have to tighten your belt because of inflation or what have you. If you saved 30% of your income, maybe you could retire in 10 or 20 years. But see, I would recommend you save between 20 to 30% of your income and eliminate those dangers, and you'll never outlive your money, and you'll be able to maintain not only your lifestyle, but improve your lifestyle in retirement. How do you do that? Number one, you want to convert your retirement assets, your strategies, your portfolio to tax-free investments. What's tax-free? Municipal bonds, but they're low yielding, okay? And they're not as safe as they used to be. A lot of municipalities are filing bankruptcy these days. You have got Roth IRAs and 401ks. I've never owned any of them, and I never will, because my favorite vehicle is often referred to as the rich man's Roth. And you don't have to be rich to have it, but the rich can't qualify for a Roth. It's what I call the laser fund, and I'll show you how you can learn about the laser fund because it's 100% tax-free. It's been grandfathered and protected in the Internal Revenue Code as a sacred cow for over 100 years under 3 sections of the code. You'll learn about those if you want, reading my most recent best-selling book. Inflation. By using indexing, which is a strategy, I'm not talking about index mutual funds, I link my returns to the things that inflate. So inflation doesn't hurt or hinder me, it helps me. If inflation is at 5, I earn 10. If it's 10, I earn 15, and I've always done that because my money is linked to the things that inflate. The third danger is market volatility. Using indexing, my money is not invested in the market. However, when the market goes up, I benefit. And I will earn 10, 15, 25%, even 55% some years if the market is going up and I'm using different strategies like multipliers or performance factors. But here's the key. When the market crashes, I don't lose. You will never lose due to market volatility using indexing because your money is not at risk in the market. This is so powerful. I wish I had more time in this episode to explain it. But that's why I would implore you to watch many of my other episodes. I would recommend watching this one. Search for IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance Contracts, where I've averaged 8 to 10% net cash-on-cash rates of return, where every $1 million I save can generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year of tax-free income. But if you like to read, I have my most recent best-selling book here. It's called The Laser Fund, How to Diversify and Create the Foundation for a tax-free retirement and eliminate those dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility. And you can save 20 or 30% of your income in here, and you will never outlive your money, and you can retire in as little as 10 to 20 years. I've done this for thousands of people. The book's $20, but I will gift it to you absolutely free. To claim your free copy, I'll tell you what. Go to Laser Fund, L-A-S-E-R, laserfund.com. You simply contribute $5.95 toward the shipping and handling. And I'll pay for the book and send it out to you absolutely free. It's 300 pages of charts, graphs, explanations, and 62 actual client stories. And you'll be able to understand how to have your money last as long as you do and not outlive your money, how you can achieve rates of return double and triple what most Americans have their money invested in, and you're also immune from taxes, inflation, and market volatility.